welcome back to my channel. So today's video, I did this abstract type French cuticle cuff mix. Of course, a little bling. I always love matte and neon, especially for the summer, and matte and crystals look good. So matte and nude. My client actually, if you'll notice, the two designs in the center two fingers have a 3D type glow rope look to it. I don't know what she was going for, but it ended up looking cool. So I'm going to start off with prepping the nail. I'm using the itty bitty bit from Elegance, and I have it at about 8 to 9,000 RPMs. This specific client has more coarse skin, cuticle growth, so kind of speed up the bit just a little bit. And this is a diamond bit. And diamond bits, of course, you can use on the natural nail. They're safe. They're essentially like a metal version of a sanding band. And this bit you want to hold as flush to the natural nail as possible. And sometimes in order to do that with a refill, you're going to have to take down the product a little more, just so you can be a little more flush to the nail plate. Also, as you can see, this client had a crack on the side of her nail, and she had some lifting, so I filed that away. It was off camera. I always don't decide if I'm gonna record, so I was a little late with that. And this nail, as you can see, she had a little lifting. She hit it. These nails are probably about 5 to 6 weeks old, so they held up pretty good for what it was, but they're really long as well. So I just put the e-file in reverse. I'm right-handed, so it is in reverse. If you're left-handed, it would be forward. And so I'm removing that cuticle from both directions and getting really nice in those sidewalls. And for every client that you do, or even for yourself, if you're a hobbyist, it will be different. So now I'm using the Buffy bit from Elegance, and it is in reverse. That way you can get from up under the cuticle area, or properly the eponychium, and kind of lift it up. I do use this bit in both directions as well, especially if I want to clip any dead skin at the eponychium. Unless you're using curved scissors, for the most part, you're going to be doing a straight cut on a curved surface. So we want to be able to buff away those points of where the blade cut at. So I'll usually do this in reverse, nip with the cuticle nipper, and then go ahead and put it in forward and then buff the other way. Also, even if you don't nip, this removes the skin if it's flaking up to the left or flaking up to the right. You can get it in both angles, or anything related to that. So I'm just going in, getting any callous skin, as you can see, and just really working on it for a while. Every client will be different. Some people need short prep that only takes a few minutes. Sometimes it's a little more laborious and time intensive. So there's even clients that'll take 30-40 minutes just for prep, just because of the skin. And then I don't want to remove it too aggressive. A lot of times in the regular nail shops, you sit down and they use an aggressive bit, a regular carbide bit, and just mess everything up. So now I'm taking Elegance Tack. I dusted everything off, cleansed it with the prep. As you can see, it's slowly dehydrating. The nails in the background, they're getting a little ashy. So now I'm using Elegance Prep to apply on the natural nail. And then, of course, you see I applied it on this break filed down portion, just so we can ensure that the product will adhere accordingly, even to that tip and everything. Because, yeah, that nail, as you can see, it used to be a tip. So I just used a little nail glue just to seal up the crack first and foremost. And then I'm going in with the natural pink fiber, which is, of course, a part of the Elegance line, and it has literal fiberglass in it. So it's like, old school doing a silk wrap, having those fibers cross that break and then kind of bind it together with, usually it's glue, but now it's with a hard gel product. So this area had a little crack that was lifting. Same thing. I glued it, made sure it adhered, and then went in with the Fibergel. Fiber is a must-have, just for fixing repairs. It has that strength. I'm not really up to build an entire nail with it, but sculpt the free edge, I will. And especially for repairs, you can use it on natural nail overlays if a client has cracked their nail as well. So now I'm going in with the Cosmetic Pink Builder from Light Elegance as well. And I like a self-leveling gel, and this doesn't really self-level. So I'm kind of just polishing it on, just get it started, starting with a thinner layer. I'm going to build it up enough just to get the pigmentation and the color. And I do kind of make a little bit of an error or mistake in the application, which it doesn't really matter because we polish a nude over it, but I'll definitely show you why not to do what I did. So I'm essentially using this for color purposes, getting the color where I want it to be, and then I'm going to encapsulate it. So as you can see, I applied a slip layer, which is that thin layer that we apply first, so that the bulk or the bigger bead of the product, which you can see me working with now, glides and moves across the nail a little bit easier. So with this nail, what I actually do is kind of leave a line of demarcation, which does not smooth out even when we encapsulate. But again, like I said, we polish on top of it, so it's not really noticeable. So for this nail, I'm going to do the exact same thing and take a lesser portion of product and do like a slip layer. I'm kind of doing a hybrid of an application right here, actually. So I kind of built a little bit at the cuticle area, then polished it down. And again, I'm just using this mostly for color reasons, to kind of camouflage her natural nail and blend the nail that we have already built. So you can see what I did with that middle finger is what messed it up. I drug the product across and that line just stayed there. So don't do that. So I'm just continuing with this process, just filling in this product with this, the Cosmetic Pink Builder or any of the builders in the Light Elegance line. Like I said, they don't self-level, but you can kind of agitate them a little bit and it'll kind of loosen them up. And if it's a little warmer, it'll loosen them up as well. So just a little tip there with that. So now I'm going to encapsulate with the clear gel, build up the strength that I want, because some of the nails, like we said, this set was on for a long time. She had some lifting, a little bit that needed to be fixed, and just the nail needs to be rebalanced and that strength needs to be pushed back more towards the cuticle area. Of course, not right on it, but just that direction. So I'm using the cool gel to build the strength and reposition the apex of the nail as well. So especially this nail right here, this one had the most amount of lifting. I think there were only two that had a reasonable amount of lifting. So I applied that slip layer first, a real thin layer, this time a true slip layer, and then I took a bigger bead. I'm applying more of the product towards the cuticle area, like I said, to balance out, push that strength back a little bit, and then the product is lessened, and then I kind of brush it down, as you can see. So now the nail is back balanced. Her nail very much has a natural curve to it, so it looks way more extreme, and that's just preference of aesthetic. Some people like their nails curved, some people like them straight, some people don't care. With this client in particular, a lot of the nails are her natural nails. Some of them have been sculpted, replaced over time. So some of them are more straight, some of them more curved. Overall, generally speaking, what I found, the pointers can, if they're left to grow naturally, they can be the most curved of them all. I don't know what it is, don't know the science, but that's what I found. So I went ahead and shaped off camera. I know, I'm sorry, but that's what happened. And now I'm using the carbide bit just to debulk some. Like I said, these nails need to be rebalanced for the most part. So I'm debulking more towards the end because we push that apex back more towards the cuticle area. So this bit is more aggressive. It debulks faster, and this wouldn't be a bit that I would literally debulk with to like take these off. But in regards to rebalancing the nail and the thickness of it as a finished filing bit, it definitely works for that. So I'm just moving vertically and horizontally across the nail just to make sure I get it from all different angles, checking that free edge, looking down the barrel of the nail to make sure the thickness is where I want it, where it's not too thin, not too thick. And this gives a really smooth surface. So after I do this, I'm going to go in with, of course, the crosscut bit, which is a diamond bit, just to further refine the surface. It'll leave a buffed, kind of rough texture to the nail. It'll help us kind of seal in the cuticle area, which I never know why they call it that, but you know, make the cuticle area more flush. So this nail, I'm really having to work, especially towards the end of the nail, just to kind of debulk, because again, it's the one that had the lifting, so we really had to rebalance. Plus, it has that curve. So I'm just filling the nails with my thumb on my opposite hand. As you can see, I glide it over the nail just to fill any lumps and bumps. I encourage you to look at the nail from all different perspectives. From the camera, you're only seeing from basically one perspective, but you know, I'm looking at it at all different angles, left side, right side, down the barrel, and everything like that. So now you see I'm taking that cross cut bit, and then I'm going around the cuticle area, making sure that's nice and flush, that we don't have no major lump and bump. Do the best we can to make it look like it's kind of growing out, you know, that it's natural. Whose nails look like this? I don't know, but I guess that's what we're trying to do, so we do it. um, so just using this bit, and it's at about 12,000 RPMs. Oh, just so you know, the carbide bit, that gold one that I showed, that was from Atwood Industries, and I think it's a medium or fine grit, and I use that at about 13,000 RPMs. So this here is about at 11 or 12,000 RPMs. So I encourage you to use this bit in all different directions, not just vertically and horizontally, but diagonally from different angles. That way we can make sure the surface is smoothed out in all directions, but also that we have that texture, that etch type texture, so that our top coat or gel polish where it will adhere properly. So once we finish with this, I usually go in with a hand file just to clean up the shape a little more, which is definitely a tip I encourage you to do, to hand file your shape, finish file with the bits, and then go in and kind of refine your hand filing once again, just in case you knock any corners off during the e-file process. So now we're getting into design. I'm going to be using this Madame Glam polish, and it's called Limoncello, and I definitely recommend this color. It's a beautiful neon yellow with good pigmentation. It doesn't have that weird sheer color. So now I'm using Coffee House from Daily Charm, and you can use discount code Tabytha and the number 10. A link for Daily Charm will be in the description bar. And the discount code is unlimited. You can use it every single day. You just generally can't use it in combination with any sales they have on their website. So Coffee House is definitely a beautiful color for all different skin tones, but especially deeper skin tones. It's a really good nude neutral color. So I had intentions to polish this on the client anyways. Of course, it looks a little different because it is a sheer color and the background is a pigmented nude color. So it gives it a different look overall than the polish would look on its own over a clear, just the natural nail underneath. So I'm just applying one coat. I feel like that's all it needed, and I don't want to bulk up the nails anymore than they have to be. I always like to clean the side of the nail to make sure it's not bulking as well. So now we're going in and creating this design. It's kind of a 3/4 of an outline situation. Trying to get the angle right. I'm more so focused on the actual look or the illusion of the line where it looks like it's at rather than where it's actually at, because fingers can be twisted or leaning a certain way. So we have to look past how the actual finger is bent and twisted and look at the actual design to make sure the illusion is there, that it look balanced from left to right, and just never mind what the finger is doing. So I go in and I don't leave all the clips in. It took me much longer than it is portrayed, but I had to wipe it a few times just to make sure the angles of these lines were right. So I started off with the straight lines. As you can see, I still had to wipe. And then I'm gonna go in and add the curve to kind of outline the cuticle area, which was surprisingly probably the easiest part of the situation. which, you know, curves and swirls are usually not easy for me, but for whatever reason, it didn't pain me as much as the straight lines. But it was just trying to get them to look proportionate. That was the most difficult part. So I'm using the stripey brush from like Elegance as well. I like the Wildflower stripey brush and the Daily Charm stripey liner type brush as well. So I can definitely recommend those to you as well, because I know everybody cannot access like Elegance products, especially from their website. It's pro or student only, but you know, you can always shop at Skyline Beauty Supply. They have some like Elegance products there. It's just a little hot tip. So I'm just kind of working to clean this up. I had that little mistake right there, so I'm just using a little brush just to clean that up, and then it's becoming more of an issue. But I eventually get it together and went ahead and cure. And this is another reason why I like to establish the design in layers and steps, just because I mess up. So I got the two lines together first, cured that, and then add this curve to it, and just making sure it's proportionate, blended in to make sure you have line consistency, that the line stays the same amount of thickness from the beginning to end. That's going to help with nail art as well. So this design is relatively easy. I draw a straight line down the center, as straight as I can, and then I do a curve up top, and then on the opposite side on the bottom, do a curve. Basically, you're drawing like half a French on the bottom, and then mirroring and flipping that to draw like a half a French at top. And I'm using the, I believe it's a swirly brush from like Elegance, just to kind of help with that design. Generally speaking, for nail art, you're going to want shorter bristled brushes for swirl type designs. I always approach it with a long stripey brush, and then I always can never do it. So, you know, do better than me and use the appropriate tools accordingly. So I'm trying. That's why I have my swirly brush, so I can knock this out a little bit easier. And it did come much easier. You see, I'm using this straight long brush trying to make this over here. I'm just being hard-headed on my own time with my own self. But I eventually got this brush to kind of refine it, clean it up. And it helps you use the brush more so like a pen or a pencil, instead of, you know, having that lack of control by having those longer bristles. So yeah, swirly type lines, designs, organic shapes and things like that, you may want to try a shorter bristled brush. So after we do the design on the 3 nails, I'm going to go in and top coat those with a shiny top coat. So I'm using the Daily Charm Diamond Shined top coat, and I'm just applying it, like I said, to the pinky, the pointer, and the thumb. The one she has this kind of yin yang abstract French. I just came up with that. I feel good about it. So go ahead and cure those. The middle two, she wanted matte. Now, me personally, I love a neon color, matte, and nude. So I was kind of sad to see these shiny, but you know, she's an actual paying client. She gets what she gets. It still looks cute, but you know, just sharing my own opinion with you guys. If you try some, tag me in it because I love to see it. I love to see it. So apply that, put it in the light. You can also use discount code Tabytha and the number 10 for the Diamond Shine and the Daily Charm Velvet Matte, which I'm also going to be using for this set as well. So for these nails, they're going to have crystals in the center. She just asked for just a little simple accent. So I'm using the Swarovski Electric Delights in the yellow. These are, I still have Swarovski crystals on me. I do. So just a simple design. This color matched real well with the color we had already established. So I went ahead, use nail glue to apply those. I used some crystal gel. I'm sorry I didn't get the clips to apply the beads. The beads and the crystal glue are all, again, still from Daily Charm. That discount code and that link to shop are going to be in the description bar. So after I apply those, the beads are cured in the gel. I'm top coating with that Diamond Shine top coat. And I'm top coating over the beads and around the crystals, never on top of the crystals. You see I went in between the crystals, around them, never on top of them. That's not what it's going to be. So we're using the shiny one. Although these are going to be matte, we're sealing around them with shiny because shiny, the crystals are sparkly, the gold is shiny. Those are bright, light reflecting things. So that's why we seal and top coat over those with that shiny top coat because it doesn't dull or take away from it. So this is our matte top coat. So we're not going to seal over the edge of the crystals. We're not going to go on top of the beads. We're literally going to go around the perimeter. We're going to try not to touch them, be as delicate as possible. With matte top coat and crystals, if you are a nail tech or one in training, I encourage you to charge extra for doing a matte top coat with crystals on the same nail because in order to do it what I feel, in my opinion, is properly, it's more tedious. We want these to last well, which means they have to be sealed in, but it is tedious because at this point, you're going to want to take a brush like this and literally draw around your beadwork and your crystals. So because this design isn't as detailed, it isn't as tedious as it can be, but it still definitely takes more time than you just doing a shiny top coat because I didn't even need to pull out a detailed brush if we kept it with a shiny top coat. I could have just went over those beads, bumped up next to those crystals, sealed around that edge, and kept it moving. So we have to pull out this brush to line around the crystals. And also with your matte top coat, I hate to say it needs to be perfect when you apply it. Applying a second coat of matte top coat is it just usually doesn't look right, and you can't really spot fix it either because it's going to stand out so much. So make sure you take the time to make sure everything you want matte on the nail is matte, that you don't have any gaps, any lumps, bumps, lint, or anything like that because it can be fixed, but it's a pain. So now I'm going in, I'm actually using the cool gel from earlier, and I'm going in and applying that to the line that we established. Like I said, the client wanted it 3D. So I'm just using some builder gel just to make it 3D, and that's going to kind of self-level out. And it just gives it made me think of like a glow stick type situation. So I'm applying that, tracing over it. And I flash cured in some areas. This was the last step we did. So I applied that, and then I didn't get the clip, but I traced over it with the the Diamond Shine top coat from Daily Charm as well, because this is the the cool gel. I just had it on hand. It does have a tacky layer, inhibition layer, so we want to make sure that we top coat on top of it so it's not dull, and then we don't have that stickiness to deal with as well. So I'm just working on making sure that's as even and leveled out as possible. And this is our final look. So what I call it, an abstract yin yang French. We have that 3/4 outline and just some bling accents. Look at that matte with that crystal, and you see that 3D effect. It kind of make it look a little bit strange, but like I said, it looks like a glow rope or something like that. So let's do like a beach ball emoji down below because it's summer. It's feeling like summer. So let's do a beach ball emoji. You know, I always say I give you guys this wonderful content and I charge you just a thumbs up and a comment, an emoji, or something, and that's it. So don't forget down below to check out my Patreon for more exclusive content, exclusive video footage. We just had a monthly video that we did for June. If you didn't see it, it's because you're not a Patreon member. So don't forget to join. Don't forget to thumbs up, subscribe, and thank you for watching. Bye.